Hey, babe. Ready to join the revolution?
Welcome to Boss Less, Babe More, a woman-first business movement where soulful strategy means brand clarity.
I'm Grace, alignment coach and Akashic record reader.
And I'm Reka, designer and brand strategist.
Together, we build businesses that are aligned, supported, and actually sustainable.
Fuck the rules. Let's change the world for every woman who comes after you.
Hey babes, welcome back to another week's episode. Today we're going to be diving into the awesome world of websites, website design, platforms, and all things that you need to know about building your website in a way that's going to really elevate your business instead of detract from it. So, Reka, I'm curious about your perspective on this. What are the most essential elements for somebody to be incorporating into their website? What's too much? I think sometimes we overcomplicate this too, where we think we need like so many pages on our website. And is that actually true? Is more or is less more? Although I think I already know this.
You may already know the answer. As a hardcore minimalist, I will say less is more. I truly believe that. I would say the biggest mistakes we are making in website design is designing too many pages and just word vomiting way more than what people need to know. Because when they come to our website, really think about like, what do they need to know? Do they need to know your story from Adam and Eve? Maybe if it's in some way extremely critical to your process, perhaps. But ultimately, people want something solved. People want to buy a product. People want a service. People want some sort of outcome. So it's more of that value proposition of what is the benefit for me? What are you solving for me? So if you keep talking about your childhood influences of X, Y, and Z, I don't know if that qualifies you. I don't know if that means that you're solving the problem. So you may be a provider that just needs a shit ton of testimonials. Like you should be heavy on the testimonials so I can see, oh, these are the types of people this person has helped, right? I don't really have testimonials. I think maybe I have a couple on my website. I'm not even sure. I may have taken it off because the work is the testimonial for me, right? So I say less is more, and ultimately it's expensive to go. And I have friends who do web design, and if you need something really custom, you want to go to a web designer. But just like everything that's changing in the world with any kind of design anymore, a couple of templated pages will do the work for you. So less is more, but it's what is it that you offer? A really clear explanation of your offer architecture. So if you guys listened to last week's episode, you kind of got a little bit of this intro offer, freebie. How do you hook the client? How do you bring them into your world? How do you put them on your newsletter? How do you follow up with them? That is important. But then how do you take them through certain structures and offerings? And if you explain clearly, you can choose package A, B, or C. That's great. That can be honestly on one page. Like you can have a longer scrolling one page that explains your offers, which is kind of where you're headed right now with your site, isn't it? This is the offer. Here's how you can join the mailing list. These are the fun things I'm doing. Here's some client testimonials. And then hop on a call with me and let's have a conversation. Done, right? So if it's a site where you're showcasing products, I'm the type of person, like I want to be able to see what it looks like from different angles. I want to know measurements. If it's furniture, like there's certain things I'm expecting. But in service-based industries, I genuinely think less is more. So if you have a website and you don't know if you should include something, you probably need to cut it. It's probably too much. You're probably saying too much. And don't forget that the client is there for their thing. Like this is not about you. This is not about you, which I think is, oh, let me show them all the. Nobody cares. I mean, we love you and you're amazing, but nobody cares, which is kind of heartbreaking. But you got to remove yourself from that branding, right? Like it's important to know who you are, and then kind of nobody cares. It's like, can you solve the problem for them?
Yeah. Wow. So many different juicy tidbits in there. I want to circle back to just the very basic of putting too many words specifically on your website. I think that now, as we're entering into the age of AI, it's so easy to plug in everything into chat and then have it spit out all of your website copy. And it's so beautiful and curated. But guess what? It sounds like AI, and it's usually long-winded and using words that like you're never using these words. Like it doesn't even sound like you. And so I think that, and this is going to tie into having like maybe an about you page or whatever on your website, but basically if you show up in your website copy talking like you talk, it immediately tells your potential customer about who you are without you even needing to have all of the uh, historical information about you
Yeah,
posted.
absolutely. And that's part of your brand tone and voice. If you work with me and work on the brand strategy portion of your business with me, we talk about this. Like, it is so critical that the thing sounds like you. And I get it. Like, English is not my first language. It's very, very appealing to put it into ChatGPT. But you know how often I write something, put it in, and I actually take things back. And I'm like, I actually like how kind of quirky I phrased that sentence. I do not need you to clean it up because it is actually how I would say it in a real life conversation. So there's stuff that you want to consider that if you sound like AI, it's not going to build a trust with your people. You want to sound like you. And that brand tone of voice is what's going to make you different. And guess what? If someone wants to work with a real person that they can trust, they will be turned off by the person that sounds like AI because that sounds like a shortcut. That sounds like you're just chasing some sort of polished version, and nobody's that. Like the humanity we lose in that is, I think, that human connection that you're going to lose with your clients. Like, unless you are a robot and you're offering very robotic things, like, it's not going to work. Like, your clients will be turned off by that. Like, this highly polished thing, it's like, oh, I can come here with my mess and offer who I am as a human with my flaws and incomplete whatever's. Like, I will feel judged. I don't feel like this is a safe space for me, right? So actually, I'm not saying have really terrible grammar and, a bunch of typos, but trying to find that tone and voice in there that still sounds like you.
Yeah. And if you use AI just to like help you get a baseline because maybe the copy is not your brilliance and you need a little bit of backup support. It's such a beautiful tool to use, but go back through it and make it sound like you. You can rewrite whatever Grok spits out at you, right? Like you want to sound like you. And I think that also kind of piggybacking off of what you said, if I personally see a content creator or a coach or a service provider of any sort that it's like they sound like I immediately begin to wonder if this is their original thought. You know what I mean? Like, did you just use AI to like think for you and build out a whole product system for you, to build out a whole course for you? Did you even come up with the original concept? Like, it really makes me doubt that in a service
Yeah.
provider.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I watched a video last week on Instagram that talked about this exact thing that they've been doing these studies on people who used AI and didn't use AI. But basically talking about this study, how people who started to use AI for this whatever particular experiment started to use less of their brain power, continuously just relying on that. And it wasn't like over years, right? So imagine what we're going to do to ourselves. Because let's say the majority of us have fucked around with AI, right? But it's not like we're using it every day. The more and more we get into this, in a year's time, you're not going to have an original thought. You're not going to wonder or question or whatever. It's like, well, that thing will tell me how to do this. So why would I bother flexing my brain? And if you feel like it's overwhelming to build a website or do some of this, I would prefer that you go to a templated website that is maybe not as custom or doesn't do very fancy animations, which I still would say that a lot of the tools, we'll discuss that in a minute, but a lot of the tools we use offer such simple like slide in, slide out, like fun things where the websites are really not that static, even on a platform-based builder. Spend the time creating the content to be more interesting and cut the corners by using a template that's a certain box or a certain style, a certain whatever, because you can still apply your colors and your fonts and a couple of things to it to make it interesting. But have the content there be more original thought versus worrying about AI producing a 10-page website for you. Like that's not, I don't think it will pay dividends. I don't think that payoff is worth it. But like I said, so there are a lot of tools available. So you can go to, the highest end, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars now because the amount of time that goes into custom coding, or if you need some sort of very specific back end production that needs to be produced, you do need to go to a shop that really designs websites from scratch. And it's going to cost you money, right? Like if you have a very specific store request or you need to take your customer through a very specific journey. But I will say over the last decade, I have used anything from Squarespace and simple plugins like Shopify for people, and now have arrived, and my Paperreka site currently runs on Showit, and I really like the platform. And I used to have a company build my original website. Friends of mine who are web designers built it originally, and it was difficult for me to go to them for the upkeep. So nothing was wrong. They did a beautiful website, but for me to create a change, I couldn't go into the back end so easily. So if you're that person who's like, listen, I want the custom and high end, and I don't care if my design update doesn't happen for a couple of weeks, and they can help you with the maintenance of it, because that's the other thing too. A couple of places will build it for you, and then it's an arm and a leg to update it because they don't want to jump on there to change a typo that you accidentally discovered, right? Like that's so much time and effort on their part for their staff to deal with something like that. So maintenance always costs so much money for that reason, which is legit. So templated websites became really popular. And honestly, a couple of my clients are still on Squarespace, and it's not magical and it's kind of blocky, but it does the job for them. And one in particular, she's like, it's a therapy business. And she's like, I have a new therapist. I need it added to the bio section. And I have taught them, I've taught the admin, everybody how to do it. And they're like, we just don't want to do it. Whenever you update it, it's fine. So we just kind of have this ongoing updating of the Squarespace site. But the Showit one I have has a lot of nuanced design tools. I can really manipulate the type and where the boxes go a lot more easy than, let's say, the Squarespace sites. And then we'll talk about yours in a second, but it's worth it to invest in some of those platforms. And of course, you guys probably know this, but if you pay yearly, a lot of these services are cheaper than the month to month. I would say if you find one where you can build it and update it easily, also don't jump around. Like just because I love Showit, you don't have to go to Showit. But if you're like, mine is really clunky and I have a hard time, or somebody built it and I don't know how it works, yes, jump ship and go somewhere else. There's a couple of great places, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it goes back to what is the purpose of your site? Are you driving a lot of traffic to it? Because that's the other thing. I have this beautiful website. I don't direct a whole lot of people there. I direct them to contact me, to work with me. I direct them to join my newsletter. I don't really direct them like, hey, read my website about what I do. Rarely. That's like a very first introduction to people. So think about that. What is the purpose of your site? Is it also just to legitimize yourself? Like, this is my brand name. And if you go to the internet, you're going to find me with my real photo, with my real copy. So it starts to build that trust with your audience. Like, oh, Akashira, that's great. So this is her photo. These are her offerings. Cool. I know she's legit, not just some sort of scam artist or something, right? So if it's that simple, stick with a simple little builder. Don't overcomplicate it. Write the original thought, content, focus on that versus what it looks like. I mean, don't make your website look like shit, but
Yeah.
but think of the payoffs.
I would also say that sometimes the really shitty templated website platforms are actually more expensive than what Showit is. And Showit is like the most beautiful, customizable platform that you can use to have templated websites, pretty much. I mean, there's so much customizability with it, and it's very easy on the back end, even if you don't feel like you're super technologically literate. So
I think I pay maybe,
for me, it was like 27 a month.
I was gonna say, I think it was like under $300 a year for the yearly subscription. And it is very customizable. And then I would see people talk about how they have a Showit website and it does like a custom scroll or something, and I can Google it, and I do not know jack shit about coding. And I could insert like snippets of code and make some really cool stuff happen. So guys, if I can do it, I'm a designer and I know some things, but I do not know coding and web design, like back end or HTML coding, and I could do it. So there's Showit would be a good one, and I wish we were sponsored by Showit, but a lot of designers do build on that site because it's easy, it's customizable, and then you can give it to your client like you update it. Why would you come back to me for $200 an hour to fix this one thing? Like, no, you go conquer. Absolutely. Own all of your platforms and own all of the things that you're doing. So Showit is a good one for that reason, but yeah, and not very expensive. Which, if you think about a $10,000 website, it's going to be years before I get to that dollar level to not have the template. Like, it's worth it to me, $200, $300 a year.
Yeah, for sure. My first website that I ever had was through GoDaddy, and oh my God, the templates on there, you can't do shit with them. You can't really move anything around. Like, you can change the fonts and colors and put in some pictures and text and stuff, but really, like, the template is just the template. And it was more expensive for me to use that than switching over to Showit. Like, you have to pay for your template up front. So, like, depending on what template you have, that can be a little chunk of upfront. But then after that, it's just a monthly subscription. Or again, if you pay annually, then it's a bit lower. But honestly, again, sometimes you can use a platform and the tech in it is really outdated, or it's clunky, or it's not easy for you yourself to do, and it's actually more expensive. So I think Showit is honestly just such a brilliant
That's a good
platform.
one. I would say right now that is my go-to, and that's what I would try to talk my clients into. But I have friends who run, or even clients who run on like a WordPress backend, and it's just like every time we go in there, this box can only go here. And then I'm MacGyvering, like, okay, so this is this box, but it has nothing in it because I'm going to put this logo on top of it, where I'm going to cheat the padding this amount and that amount to make it work. And it's like, oh my God, my brain wants to fucking explode. But you're using something different now. So we're talking about tech and websites where you have landed recently.
Yeah, so I was using Showit for about a year and a half, loved it, but it's not exactly what I need for where I'm headed right now. So I decided to switch over to something called Ivory, which is not just a website host. It is an everything host.
Yeah.
It hosts my website. It does my email marketing, text marketing, has landing pages, has course opportunities like Kajabi does to be able to build courses, sell services, have an online calendar with bookable links. I also love the company because it was created by two women. Woof, woof,
Hell yeah.
in, what is it, Australia?
Australia.
And basically, it is specifically designed for women entrepreneurs, for coaches, for healers who are in this industry where they're dealing with the exact same problems that I've run into, where it's like you have all 18 gazillion different subscriptions. It's costing you an arm and a leg. And if you were just to transfer, and of course the process is a little gnarly transferring everything, but if you just transfer, it actually does, for me at least, ended up saving me a good amount of money. So I'm still in the process of transferring everything over. I still have like my other scheduler that I haven't quite integrated in yet. I'm a little nervous because it's like, just whenever you're using new software, it's a little bit of a learning curve. But honestly, I'm finding that it's pretty intuitive to work through it and get things rolling. So it's like once you have the things set up, it runs pretty smoothly.
Yeah. So I would say this is a great example of like their website builder tool is a little bit more clunky, but it's very clear that they're a new company and they are on the up and up. Like they're going to add more templates and it's going to get a little more intuitive. But the trade-off for you is housing everything under one login. You literally can have your community there. You can schedule everybody. You can collect payments. You can run your course. You can run your email funnels. Like think about all of those different things. Like Kajabi is $200-$300 a month. Your scheduler is like $50 a month. Like by the time you add it up, you're running your business $1,000 a month because there's this one software that's really nuanced on, appointments, let's say. Well, what if you don't need 5,000 certain things from this scheduler, but you just need to be able to show the schedule and book people in, right? Like maybe it's a little more simple. So think about that. Like, how do you want to present yourself online, and what are the tools that are really necessary? And then kind of search based on that. So I would say if you just need a website, Showit is great for that. Does it have the same kind of enhancements and built-ins as you? No, it doesn't. So I have a newsletter, but I'm under, I think it's like 1,000 people. So it's still free for me. But I get to the 1,000 point, I'm gonna start paying for some fucking like email provider, right? So it's like think of all the things that your business needs and then kind of decide based on that. But I'm really excited for this Ivory one.
And I mean, if you don't love it, it's sometimes nice to, like you were saying, instead of buying the whole year, just try it out for a month and see if it actually does work with the systems that you currently have or is benefiting your business in some way. And again, maybe you don't have all of your clients or potential customers funneled to your website. Maybe it's something else. So maybe this would be a better option for you because you can have a built-in landing page and just immediately like take people through your lead magnet, which if you want to know about lead magnets, go ahead and listen to last week's episode. We take you through the whole gamut of how to do effective lead magnets. But yeah, I mean, it's really like, what is it that you need? And then use a platform that actually fulfills that need, not that it's something that's trendy or is super fancy. Like you really don't need all of the bells and whistles. You just need what you need now to get rolling for the next iteration of your business.
I agree. I agree. Okay, so if you guys are interested in a more comprehensive thing, go do that. If not, yeah, do a little bit of research. Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What's a good platform for you? But think about that, like anything about business, you know, if you really think through what is it that I need and what is the reason for it, not because your neighbor is using it or the business you admire is using it, how does it serve you? Like there are tools that you can probably cut, or there are tools that you can probably combine, or there are platforms like Ivory that you can jump on. So think through that. And then I think this is kind of a part one of part two discussion, but next week we want to come back with a little bit more details on other tools that we have used in the past. So tune in for that and just kind of get download on what two recovering boss babes are trying to do for hustling less and using technology, but not using all the technology and not going too far down the AI rabbit hole, but trying to give you some tools to make the business easier and a little more sustainable. So tune in for that too next week.
Yeah, until then,
Don't forget
to boss less, babe more.